What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, March 22nd, 2024, the release date of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller. Thank you, Barrett! You're a Ghostbusters super fan alongside Forbes 30 Under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the New York Times quoted at Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host. I'm so happy for you. A new Ghostbusters film in theaters, Greg. One that you enjoyed quite a bit.
Yes.
You got to see twice. Are you planning to see it a third time?
There's the hope.
Yes.
You know, we have Benjamin. So, like, there is a lot of things going on. You do know, of course, video games are my number one priority. So,
of course,
I've kicked around the idea, of course, of, well, Jen goes to bed early one of these nights. I slip off to the theater and go off and do that. But I'll probably want to play a video game. Poe and his son coming to visit next week. I think there might be a chance to get out and see it again there.
Exciting.
So let's be a part of it there. And I'm still chasing popcorn buckets and ghost traps and everything else out there. You know what I mean?
I respect that for you so much.
You know, we're down a whole bunch of people right now because of PAX East, because of vacations, yada, yada, yada. Joey Noel is working at some point on getting today's Greg Way up. And it's all about me getting to revel in today of a new Ghostbusters film being out, and really wrestling with the fact of why it's special, because it hasn't happened in so long. You can look to Afterlife, sure, but Afterlife was very much pandemic and very much Ben had just been born.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't like it is now, where everybody's out in suits. There's all this stupid fucking garbage plastic shit to go buy because it's Ghostbusters.
And we'll talk about this more on our in-review that we're recording later today for Kind of Funny members.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one is also a lot more Ghostbusters than Afterlife was. Afterlife was very much the legacy sequel type thing.
Rebooty
I feel like
thing.
This is very much like, hey, we're back to making Ghostbusters.
If you would have talked to Greg Miller, I think, as he left the theater in 1989 after Ghostbusters 2, all of 6 years old, and you said, well, what do you want the next Ghostbusters to be? I would have been like, oh, this was nice, but I want them to be in New York busting ghosts.
Yep.
So I got what I wanted.
You did?
You know, some 40 years later. Yeah,
I love that.
30 years later. You know, I'm playing fast and loose with it. Now, Tim, of course, everyone knows.
Yeah.
You were supposed to host this episode.
I was.
And you're also like furiously typing over there. You look like, you know, you're in the chair right now. Someone's got the gun to your head. It's that Swordfish movie. You're Hugh Jackman. You're not supposed to touch a computer, but you're touching a computer. Maybe something's happening under the table to you if you remember Swordfish really well.
I never saw Swordfish.
Really?
Yeah.
I was making a reference to a blowjob. But it's a great movie. I don't know if it's a great movie, actually, but it was a fun movie back in the day. When I was a kid and I was watching Swordfish, I was like, yo, shit, this is good hacking. What are you hacking right now?
I am trying to get tickets to Hans Zimmer live. I never in my life thought I'd actually see it because he does not come to America, or at least has not in a very long time. And I thought those days were over, but he is. So I am frantically trying to get this.
How's it going?
It's going well.
You said this isn't Taylor Swift, but you showed me the countdown window and all the shit that was happening.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't know how it's going to go. They are selling out. They're selling out fast, but I'm thinking we're going to be good here, everybody. It will be at Oakland. Which is big arena. That's exciting.
Sure. Okay, looks like it's confirmed there.
I got it. We're good,
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim's going to go see Hans Zimmer.
Oh my
I get
God.
a new Ghostbusters movie. Tim gets to go see Hans Zimmer.
Play a whole bunch of DC music.
So
that's going to be cool. Man of Steel.
Welcome to the stage, my friend, DJ Junkie XL.
I don't think the Electro Suite is part of this live show, but we can only hope. It was part of the last one.
Maybe it's his encore, you know? Get him out there doing that thing. Have him come out and say, hey.
Feel good, everybody. Okay, now let's talk about some video games.
Okay, let's talk about the fact that Dragon's Dogma 2 is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Larian is done with Baldur's Gate, period, as a franchise. It's over, and so much more. Because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you like what we do and love us, hey, keep us independent, keep the 11 of us employed, keep us having the mics on and the lights on by going and getting that Kind of Funny membership either on YouTube or on Patreon. Of course, with the Kind of Funny membership, you would get each and every weekday the multimedia experience that is Greg Way.
Can you explain this to me? I missed the origin of this. Is the multimedia just the podcast and video versions?
That is correct.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Well, I was calling it a vlog, and you and I both know that for many of our listeners, video content is kryptonite. They don't want to watch.
Okay.
They want to listen.
So
I
now
need
you're
to drive.
simplifying it for people. It's a multimedia experience. That's something everybody wants.
Tim, it's provocative.
They're like,
shit, I gotta go click into this Kind of Funny membership. What is this?
What is this? You're right.
As soon as when I say I'm working on it, I'm starting right now.
Okay.
I will work with the game smells people, the game scent people, that maybe we can get a Greg Way tie-in.
Okay.
So that when I mention pizza. It smells like pizza in your house or something. We can try. We can dream, right? That's what we could do. Don't worry about it. Anyways, Gregway, multimedia experience. It's an MP3 and it's a video. You get it whenever you want to. Yeah. Of course, you'd also get each and every episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily. You shut your fucking face. You saw it last night too. Yesterday with me, Ghostbusters. I'm excited for your overall review.
Oh yeah, it's gonna
but
be
I was just more. The Gregway today is all about the relief.
Yeah.
Of being twice in the theater, turning to you to be like, "Is it bad yet? Did I miss that it's bad?"
Yeah.
And then at the end, you and Nick both being like,
"Y'all, it's not
a perfect movie, but it's not bad. It's fun.
It is not a 4 out of 10. I'll tell you that. All right,
that's all I needed.
Jesus.
I was telling Barrett asked me the same thing like this morning. Like, you still enjoy it? And I'm like, yes, but it's more the relief.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that I need everyone to enjoy it. I totally get people not liking this movie or not liking Ghostbusters. But like, we would have a problem for the company if I was so blinded to be like, this movie's great, and everybody else like, dude, sit down. This is worse than Madam Web. I'd be like, shit, I can't review. I can't review anything anymore.
I do have some takes on that.
Oh,
you have to wait for a review for that, though.
I may leave this company. Ladies and gentlemen, on top of that, like I said, you get every episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily ad-free. Of course, you get all the other shows ad-free with your Kinda Funny membership. And of course, you can watch us record the podcast live as we record them. Just like Ghostbusters in Review, which we are recording right after this. It will be posting everywhere, though, so don't worry about that today. So you can get into it right away. Go see the movie, dress up, have some fun. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have no bucks tossed away, YouTube, podcast services, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, leave a review. It helps us out quite some bit. And if you're watching live right now, remember, you can be part of the show with your YouTube super chats. That's what we pull from to be part of the show with your questions, comments, and concerns. Housekeeping. It's PAX. PAX is happening right now. And I think right now they are doing their first panel. The Game Showdown Live is happening. That's right. Kinda Funny is over there. Blessing is doing the Game Showdown. Mike is keeping score after he had no PAX Pass and had to buy a PAX Pass. What I've heard he had to do. This is what he did? This was his answer?
Are you serious?
Isn't this the answer, Barrett? That's what I heard out there?
This is the first I'm hearing of it, but it's the most fucking Mike.
Send me Roger.
No,
Send me Roger
that can't
or
be true.
Andy. I heard them talking about
that
this.
Better not be true.
Jesus.
I had a phone call with Mike last night where, okay, we got to talk about this, Greg. We have to talk about this.
We got to talk about Mike.
We're watching Ghostbusters, right? I get some text. I didn't look at him because I'm watching a feature film.
Yeah.
All right. When we get out, I look at it. I look at you. I'm like, oh, man. Somehow Mike doesn't have his PAX badge. Blessing does. We'll figure it out. Mike was like, hey, should I talk to the Obsidian PR people? Because he's hosting the Obsidian panel.
Like, yes.
And so I immediately call him when I get in my car. And I'm like, hey, dude, yes, talk to him. And he's like, homie, just laughing and stuff. And I was like, hey, I need you to like, are you good? He's like, no, I'll be good. I'm going to email her. I'll talk to her tomorrow. And I was like, no. Email her right now.
Yeah.
Or else I will call somebody. Like, and I named multiple people of, hey, do you want me to talk to this person? Do you want me to talk to
Do you want me to
Mr.
solve this
Xbox?
problem?
Do you want me to, like, what are we doing here? And he was like, no, I got it. Okay, fine. Hey, I'm at dinner with Bless. I'm going to email her right now. I'm going to handle it. And then this morning I get a text from Mike. What did he say? What?
Roger, come on in here. Come on in here.
I want to say what he said before I hear what he said. He said, handled it. I'm all good.
Oh,
That's what he said. And so I was like, hell yeah. Have the best time, homie. That was my response. Do I need to retract it, Roger? What happened?
Got a text message at 6:56 a.m. today, my time. Had to buy a ticket into PAX. Ha 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 ha.
so he didn't email anybody last night, is what I get from that.
Just bought a ticket. Just bought a ticket.
And it's like, we know everyone at PAX.
We know everybody.
Like, I could have called multiple people to get him a press pass like that.
This causes there's just
I'm not approving the expense. I'm going to be honest.
So many problems unnecessarily.
I'm not approving the expense.
No, don't, Greg. Teach him a lesson. He needs to learn. I also hope that because he had to buy the badge, it doesn't get him access to
I hope he had to buy a one-day pass. You know, now he's got to buy every day and go in there and do the thing.
But like, they're like, oh, sir, like you can't come.
You got to get in the line, get in the queue.
You got to get into the queue for the panel that you're hosting. Mike, man.
In the chat, Dub de Kaiser says, how many millions did Mike inherit? The real question is, how much debt will his children inherit? That is the real question with Mike.
It's not good, man. God.
Anyways, that's happening right now. If you aren't at PAX and you're watching this show, good news. We are recording it. We will have it up as soon as possible on youtube.com/kindafunnygames for your viewing and listening perusal. Because it's a multimedia experience as well. There's a podcast feed. I digress. That's not it, though. Of course, tomorrow is Saturday. It's the weekend, but SnowBikeMike is hosting the Grounded PAX East panel alongside Obsidian. It's going down at 2:30 p.m. Eastern in the Albatross Theater, but you can watch it online at twitch.tv/PAX2. Directly after that, in the main theater, Blessing is hosting the Code, Sweat, and Cheers How We Made Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty panel at PAX East alongside CD Projekt Red. You can join him in the PAX East Main Theater March 23rd. That's tomorrow, Saturday, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
I have some breaking news on that. Is that 100%?
Canceled. They're going to watch Ghostbusters instead.
It's not 100% confirmed, but I have it on good authority that after the panel, there will be some type of light meet and greet situation with the panelists, which includes Blessing Adeoye Jr. So if you ever wanted to meet the man himself, probably going to be a great time.
That's a good one. Give me my one, Barrett. Chat and Tim, how are we feeling about the hair? It's very tall.
It is tall. I'm a tall hair guy. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
It's not your normal thing, but
Yeah.
I feel like for today it's good. This is like a
Is
new...
it?
Yeah.
Very important in
It's
review.
very Ghostbusters vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do like it.
Okay, I think that little swoop I did there at the end I liked a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. More housekeeping for you. A brand new Xcast is up right now. It's me, it's Andy, it's Blessing, it's Mike talking about all the awesome games we played at GDC.
Hell yeah.
We preview a dozen games that we loved that are coming out to Xbox and, of course, other platforms. So please go check it out. Like I said, Ghostbusters in Review records right after this. It'll be up ASAP. Use your Kinda Funny membership to watch live. Catch it later on youtube.com/kindafunny and the In Review podcast feeds. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Kieran Hovasapien, and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays and Robin Hood, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 6 items on the report.
A baker's dozen.
Aaron Cheeseburger's comment on my hair gives German vibes.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Okay.
He's not wrong,
I
but
don't-
like in
you know.
good ways.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And but someone else, it went. I was saying, it's giving Ghostbusters vibes. I'm like, I don't know what I mean by that. They're
Egon.
like, oh, Egon. I'm like,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. Yeah.
Fair enough. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, is a long one. Lots of details in here, so strap in, all right? Dragons Dogma 2 Microtransaction Mayhem. We go to Wesley Yinpool at IGN.com. Dragon's Dogma 2 has enjoyed a huge day one on PC, but has also sparked a voracious debate about microtransactions.
Hold on. No. That's not what that word says.
Can you just let me
Greg.
go? I fucking
can't-
saw it, and I was
need to see this.
I can't even pronounce this.
This is the word of the day. Vociferous?
Vociferous?
Whoa! I'm gonna Google it.
It sparked an angry debate about microtransactions, all right? The fantasy action game has 21
Glamorous.
separate microtransactions available day one, ranging in price from 99 cents to $4.99. Offerings include the Explorer Camping Kit for $2.99, a 99-cent Gowl Key that allows you to escape from Gowl but breaks after a single use, a Port Crystal Wrap location marker that costs $2.99, and a 99-cent Wake Stones that restore the dead to life. These microtransactions have sparked a controversy, not just for the sheer number available on day one, but because they make parts of the game deliberately designed to challenge players in certain ways, either easier, less frustrating, or quicker. Players have already pointed out that these microtransactions help with fast travel, which in Dragon's Dogma 2 is restricted. Players require expensive and rare fairy stones to teleport designated port crystals. Oh, 2 port crystals. A port crystal, which costs $2.99 as a microtransaction, can be set at a destination of your choice. You then use a fairy stone to instantly transport your party to the port crystal's location. Ahead of release, director Hideki Itsuno told IGN why the development team wanted players to travel normally and experience the world around them. Quote, just give it a try.
Give it a try.
Travel is boring? That's not true. It's only an issue because your game is boring. All you have to do is make travel fun, he said. That's why you place things in the right location for players to discover, or come up with enemy appearance methods that create different experiences each time, or force players into blind situations where they don't know whether it's safe or not 10 meters in front of them. We put a lot of work into designing a game where you can stumble across someone and something will happen. So, while it's fine if it does offer fast travel, we decided to design the map in a way that the journey itself could be enjoyed. It's the same kind of way in real life that you may deliberately choose to go by bike or on foot when traveling instead of taking a faster option. The Explorer's Camping Kit microtransaction has also raised eyebrows. In Dragon's Dogma 2, camping kits are used to make camp while out exploring and offer you and your party a brief respite from combat to recover and prepare. Elsewhere, the 199 Art of Metamorphosis lets players edit their character's appearance or their appearance of a pawn. It can be used only once when visiting a barbery. You can edit a character appearance in Dragon's Dogma 2 without buying this microtransaction, but it costs a sizable chunk of in-game currency. Exacerbating matters is the fact that Dragon's Dogma 2 is a $70 single-player RPG. Parentheses, it's Capcom's first $70 game.
Important information there.
With some questioning whether it should have microtransactions such as these at all. Dragon's Dogma 2 has launched with a mixed user review rating on Steam after an initial mostly negative rating, with most of the negative reviews hitting out at the monetization. However, there are players defending the microtransactions, explaining that the items you can buy are available to obtain in the game itself through gameplay. It's also worth pointing out that each microtransaction is limited to one purchase only. Here's a snippet of the reaction. There's a whole bunch of angry tweets and people mad and reviews and yada yada. You can imagine. Despite the row over microtransactions, Dragon's Dogma 2 has launched big on PC. Console players' stats aren't available. According to official figures, Dragon's Dogma 2 hit a peak of 184,724 concurrent players on Steam on launch day, breaking Capcom's highest concurrent user peak record for a single game and beating out both Resident Evil 4 and The Village. That number will no doubt increase over the weekend as more people log into play. PC players are also reporting performance issues even on powerful rigs. Capcom told IGN that performance issues with the PC version of Dragon's Dogma 2 may be linked to the heavy amount of CPU demanded from NPCs in the game. In response, some fans planned an NPC murder spree in a bid to boost the game's frame rate, which is fucking awesome. I digress, though. Timothy.
Yes.
Very, very long.
Yeah.
Very, very long. Sorry, I had to get all that out there. I think it's all important context for what's going on. What's your initial knee-jerk takeaway?
My knee-jerk takeaway is games need to make money. Then I think a little more. I'm like, but what's the right way and what's the wrong way to go about doing that?
Yeah.
$70, their first $70 title, for something like this absolutely makes sense. We've seen it happen. It's becoming more and more normalized, and I feel like that price point for a title like Dragon's Dogma 2 is more than acceptable.
Justified.
When you start adding microtransactions like the ones they're adding to single-player games, I think you start at it's problematic, and then you kind of need to defend why it's not. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of where I see it, where it's almost you're guilty till proven innocent. There's things said here that make me go, oh, that's bad. And then there's things that I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. Like, if it is the one-time purchase, and if you just buy the thing and then you get the stuff, it's like, all right, that's shady. Doesn't seem ideal, but it's also them going against the way they wanted to design the game. They want players to play the game. So it is kind of the, hey, if you really insist on doing these things, you can. And I think the one-time purchase limits it in a way that at least shows that they put thought into, we understand that this is a problem, that it's going to rub people the wrong way. So we're trying to remedy that. Does that solve that? Clearly not. People are upset. Are they justified in being upset? I say yes, they are. But I also think that Capcom is justified in making these decisions to try to find ways to make money for this type of game. I think that we're going to see a lot more of this as it continues to grow and like as games just get bigger and bigger or whatever they end up turning into.
Yeah.
But I do think that taking elements of monetization that we've seen in mobile games, that we've seen in core games, microtransactions in general over the last couple decades that they've existed, I feel we've seen a lot of good decisions, bad decisions, everything in between. And the fact that you can get the stuff while playing is a relief in some ways, but it also then goes back to, and I know I'm like acting against myself here even, it's like it is designed that way though, that makes it kind of icky that, well, you can just buy it to remedy the design of the game. So it's like you are incentivizing people to pay to not have to do the stuff. And if the game was good enough, they wouldn't even want to do that. You shouldn't even offer that to begin with.
The quote is really damning for them, right? To come in and do this or whatever. Barrett, you want to jump in, but I'd rather weigh in if you don't mind beforehand. So my take on this from an uncultured, not part of the community, I'm not out there right now bopping around doing all this stuff with Dragon's Dogma 2. Our review is in progress, a review so far. We did impressions, actually, because we were so light on all of it, because none of us were vibing that much with it in terms of what was going on. I have seen in the comments, why didn't we mention it in our review, these microtransactions? I think it's more interesting to jump back to somebody who like Kes McDonald, of course. Kes McDonald, formerly of IGN. We all know her very well. Now the video games editor over at Kotaku. She was the first person when I woke up this morning I saw talking about this, and her thing quoting it was, I'm very concerned, I'm very confused because I played Dragon's Dogma on PS5 for 40-ish hours and have not seen a single available microtransaction. Can someone enlighten me? To which somebody chimed in and goes, basically all the items that were available in the pre-order packs were also added to Steam as individual purchases. They include and then they run through. Kez's response to basically that is, so you can buy rift crystals. I mean, you can also earn them whenever your pawn goes on an adventure, ? I have hundreds and I've never spent anything on them. I'm an outsider. I'm learning about this this morning and not in the community, not playing the game, To me, this entire thing seems like much ado about nothing. This sounds like everyone who wants to just bristle at microtransactions. It sounds like they're actually kind of being nice to you of like, yo, you didn't want to buy the entire pre-order collection, whatever edition that gave you all this shit. We're putting it all up one by one so that if you wanted to buy it, you can buy it. It's a one-time use and you're done with it. One-time purchase and you're done with it. And so like, that's my read on it. And it just seems like not even poorly messaged. I don't know how you would message this. It just seems like we have a bunch of different those words that will not be named, those terms that are evil in video games to gamers, to capital G gamers. And when those come up at all, people want to immediately go to the Steam page and It doesn't matter that it's Capcom's most successful thing. It doesn't matter. It's getting 10s from IGN and GameSpot.
Yeah, I'm one of them gave it an 8, I think. But I think
okay. So IGN gave it a 10 and GameSpot gave it an 8.
I'm so with you, and like honestly, like that's my stance on it too.
Sure,
I just totally understand the other side because why does this stuff cost money to begin with? Like these things are just features, and why is microtransactions a bad word? Because it is. Like I feel like it starts as a problem, and then you kind of work through it. I just feel like looking at some of this stuff, it's like, this is just core gameplay stuff. Like this just sounds like stuff that you're like, hey, we don't want this in our game, and now it's here at an extra cost. Something about that doesn't feel like it came from a place of, we're doing this because we want players to enjoy the game the way they want to, or else it would be free. This seems like a way to make more money, which it's a business. They're trying to make money. So I get it from that perspective. And it's just frustrating to me to play.
Neither of them gave it a 10. I apologize.
It's frustrating to play a game, play games like, I'm going to talk about this a lot because I think it did it really well, Prince of Persia, that has so many great options to be able to play the game how you want, to make it as easy as you want, to find all this stuff, and you don't need to get nickel and dime for things that they easily could have done that. You get to play the game how you want to play the game. And this definitely just seems like stuff that didn't warrant extra. I mean, it's in the game. It's already in the game. So it's like you can actually get the stuff without having to pay money. So the paying money part for what they're offering here, I understand why people are upset. Like that's all that it comes down to. And again, are they justified in like review bombing or whatever? I don't think so. I don't think that's ever the way to be heard. But to voice criticism for this because it is a slippery slope, I think is entirely
That's the
valid.
biggest thing about it, where I think it's a slippery slope. Where I think it's easy to say, oh, well, this isn't a big deal, or why are you getting mad about it? And then someone takes it too far, and then it is, well, you didn't get mad about this thing, right?
Totally.
But I do feel it's a baby with the bathwater thing. I think there's nuanced issues to each one of these in terms of what and I'm talking about each one of these as in the made up one I'm crafting in my head that's actually horrible, right? This one just seems like, you could have bought this shit with the pre-order, but you didn't, so we put it there, and we're still gonna get whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if it was unlimited crystals, if it was this, that, and the other, if it was like, I don't know. And then I saw a lot of people, talking about like, oh man, it's scummy to hide this until after the review. And I do think, again, to our slippery slope thing, there's a conversation there of like, sure, I can definitely come up with some microtransactions to be scummy and blah, blah, blah. But I think if the review's working, that's the kind of shit you would ding it for anyway. Where it'd be like, there's no fast travel game, and this fucking sucks. So the game is getting a 6, it is getting a 5, it is a Madam Web of a game. And then the game launches and there's fast travel, you're like, oh, that fucking stupid as hell. But I don't see people, like one of the things we were talking about on our impressions so far is like, well, no, walking around the world, you are finding things, you are doing things. Like, it's part of the experience to do that. And so to have this there, it's like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it doesn't affect me because I'm not into this. Last night I went home and played Rise of the Ronin, and I fucking fast traveled all over the place collecting cats. I was having a great time. But like, I can understand the slippery slope argument, but looking at all the evidence on the table of this one, I don't understand why people are mad. I can understand hey, whoa, this shit can't go unchecked. You know what I mean? Like, we have to make sure, blah, blah. But to be mad at this one, I don't get.
Great points, Greggy, and I'm kind of with you as well. And I think it's also just because I'm an Assassin's Creed fan, and they've been doing this for
get them Helix credits, baby. Get them Helix. You want your horse to look good? You want this sword?
Yeah. Or you want like more XP for the grind and all this stuff. And I just choose not to engage with it. And
that game can stand on its own without it, right?
Yes, and I think that's the same thing with Dragon's Dogma as well, especially with like talking about like if the game is deliberately designed to make players want to get these microtransactions, yeah, that does suck. But
that's
like
scummy.
I don't, from what I understand of like talking to others who are really digging this game, I don't think that is the case of like if people feel like compelled of like, oh, I need these things, or reviewers felt like they needed these things, and then now that all of these microtransactions are out there, they're like, fuck, I could have had this. Most of them are like, yeah, no, I just played the game and I really fucking enjoyed it, and you can just ignore this. It reminds me of the Helldivers 2 stuff. When Helldivers 2 launched and people were upset about the, what do they call it? The thing that...
The war bonds.
Yeah, the war bonds and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but you can also just play the game and earn a bunch of shit just playing the game and then unlock shit playing the game. So, I don't know, man. Like, yes, corporation stuff is definitely, like, the cause of this, and it sucks, and microtransactions are definitely like a fucking blight upon our video game realm, but also you can choose to ignore it.
That's my thing where I think there's an interesting current going through the YouTube chat. 14 another has it. People are mad because of lying from developers and reviewers. No one said anything about the microtransactions at all. So that's an interesting take of, from what I understand, these weren't live when the people were reviewing the game. So you can't be mad, or you can't be mad at the reviewers about that issue of it. And even if you wanted to be mad about them, I just don't understand what the fuck you're saying. Because the reviewers reviewed the game without the microtransactions. If you're mad about the microtransactions that you don't want to buy, you can look at the review, and that's what the person felt about the game without those microtransactions.
I saw people in the chat saying that the microtransactions have been public like for a while on the Steam page and all that stuff.
Well, Steam, but nobody's stupid enough to play out.
But even then, though, it's like I'm with you with that point of just like, yeah, the information was out there and it didn't affect the reviews at all. They didn't even, the reviews didn't use them.
Yeah,
they reviewed the game based on not using them.
Yeah, Alex Frazier super chat and said they're not shoving it in your face. At least I haven't seen one once yet. I think that's the other thing about this, right? Where it's going down here.
Someone in the chat, I lost it, asked, "Do review copies ever have microtransactions?" And that, like, I'm trying to think back to Assassin's Creed, and I feel like they will have the page.
I was gonna say, in my experience,
I can't. I don't think it's live.
Yeah, I can't speak to every game. Obviously, any game I've ever seen with that stuff usually is not live. You'd go like when you go to click, like let's talk about WWE. If you try to jump in there and buy the VC or whatever, right? It usually go and the store isn't live, so you can't buy it yet. That's how it works on a PlayStation. I'm not familiar with everything else. Kebabs super chats and says, "Is it okay for microtransactions to go live after reviews?"
I mean, I think so. I think that like there's review guides explain what's in a game, and there's some good review guides and there's some bad review guides. Like there's no consistency, honestly. It really depends on
everybody's
on the
review guide
companies. And I feel like, yeah, like I say in our experience, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like oftentimes like I always read the guides. Like
yeah, well, there's usually stuff buried in there of like hide yourself or don't hide yourself.
Always
do this.
Stuff. Yeah, so it's like usually I feel like they do a good job of, hey, these features aren't live yet. They will. This is what it's going to look like to some extent. And also just the type of games that I tend to play normally aren't bogged down with this stuff too much. But I do notice when they are. I do notice things like Mortal Kombat when I boot it up and I look at the review guide for that. I'm just like, good Lord, there's a lot of fine print here.
So then, let's... Yeah, let's look at my code that came with Dragon's Dogma. Headline, review code, Capcom's Dragon Dogma 2, right? A whole bunch of information then. If you are talking about should reviewers have mentioned all this stuff, there is a line here for a paragraph. Before reading, please read the web guide FAQ linked here. as well as the media review guide lift here, and paid DLC guide available for download here. So this was available. This was out there. When you click on it again and go into it, it's, I'm assuming, a publicly available document. It's everything we just talked about, where it's every piece of DLC, here's the price reference, and here's the maximum number of purchases. Everything, for the most part, is a one-time purchase, with the exception of 500 Rift Crystals can be bought 3 times, 1,500 Rift Crystals can be bought 4 times, and the Wake Stone Restore the Dead to Life can be bought 5 times.
I think the maximum purchase this thing is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because again, speaking as someone from the outside, from what the one thing... Oh, here you go. Okay, I don't even have to talk out my ass. Okay, so... Everybody stick with me. We're learning on the fly, right? Everything is included in a Boon for Adventurers Journey Pack. Let me try this again. These are the DLC items that are included in the Boon for Adventures new Journey Pack, the ones that have this little asterisk. Dragon's Dogma 2 Deluxe Edition includes the base game and the add-on, the Boon for Adventures new Journey Pack. So there you go. Yeah. This, again, is just getting you the pack that would have been with the Deluxe Edition. Again, I think this is much ado about nothing. I think, again, it is very nice that they're offering. I think this. Hey, do you don't want to buy the deluxe edition? You don't want to pay $14.99, which is what I believe is what I'm looking at here, is what the deluxe edition adds to the thing. Cool, buy it piecemeal if you only want some of this stuff.
Totally. And like, I feel like the thing that really just tears me is my opinion on this. I'm 100% aligned with this. As much to do about nothing. I also just believe that microtransactions shouldn't be for game features like this. I feel like skins, I feel like modes, even like bigger things. Yes, this type of features, I'm just like this. It feels scummy to me, and that's a personal thing. And I don't need to buy it. I don't need to do it. And I guarantee that if it was in a game that I liked and it was a feature I wanted, I would buy it. But I'd still bitch about it.
So let's jump into this then too. Just again, Greg, we're all different gamers. You listening or viewing right now are a different gamer, and I love that about you. You're so fucking sexy. Go look in the mirror and blow kisses to yourself. But back to me. Reading this stuff and this is how you got to do this wake thing at the camp, and then there's the fast travels limited and stuff. That for me is even more of a turnoff to Dragon's Dogma 2, because again, my Rise of the Ronin review so far has been like, this is a game, as Steven Tutillo said, that is meant for you not to have a lot of time. You know, here's a bunch of shit you can automate. Here, fast travel is fucking everywhere. So it is. I get the mission. I look at the map. There's the banner. I warp to it. I go do the thing. I warp back to turn it in. Like, I also do love running around and riding and fight, but it's like when I'm just like, I just want to do shit. Yeah, I can go do shit that way.
I guess to me, and I just keep honing in more and more on what it is that bothers me about this. It's fast travel either should be in a game or not be in a game. It shouldn't be something you have to pay more for. Literally that thing, fast travel.
But you can unlock it in this, right? That's the idea? It unlocks earlier?
Yes, but like my thing there is like, and I don't know how hard it is to do that. I don't know how much that takes to do all that. But I don't even, I would expect it's not that big of a deal in Dragon's Dogma 2 specifically. I just think that kind of thinking leads to more and more features like fast travel being put behind this stuff. And then eventually, just inherently, because of capitalism and how this works, games will be made differently. And they will be made to be able to piecemeal out these features because they know, people can do this, or just they don't want to put in the time. They'll just buy it. And then people will buy it. And that's not good.
I thought you'd go just a little bit longer. The IGN article doesn't have it. I know.
But also fast travel is something that's very appealing to me. Like I feel like that is something that I mean, a game having it versus not having it, like that's a guaranteed buy for me. If that was something that you could not only get, but even if it was just easier, depending on how much it costs.
So yeah. Fast travel's in the game. It's not like it's locked away to this. It's just a way to get it quicker, have more port crystals to do it, or whatever the fuck it is, right? So I hear you again, though. I think we're into the slippery slope conversation. Mm-hmm. And then again, I would even argue, and don't get me wrong, do not misunderstand me. People will continue to fuck this up. Publishers and developers will continue to fuck this up. But I feel like we've already lived through the egregious microtransaction of this breaks the game. This is pay to win. Why isn't this a feature? Why is Prince of Persia, whatever it was, 2008, 9, 10? Why is the DLC the actual ending of the game? Why did you give me the fucking ending of the game? Like, I feel like we've come around to then get to a point where this isn't there. But again, people bristle at the idea of microtransactions.
I totally agree. And I think that the slippery slope thing, it's like, I just want to be clear here. I do not think that the story we're talking about, Dragon's Dogma 2, I do not think that it is at all like the beginning point of the slippery slope. I just think that it is like, it's another little pebble falling down the mountain, you know? And like, I do think it's a pebble. I do not think this is even a rock. It's definitely not a boulder.
What about The Rock?
God.
Uh,
Tonight, baby.
I know.
No rock. But
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still rolling. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to pull from. We've been going for a while here, obviously. I appreciate everyone writing in on Super Chats here. Al Captain 22 says, this year you already have New Game Plus starting to go behind a paywall. There's going to come a day where you slip all the way down the slope in difficulty levels and performance and quality modes behind these paywalls.
I agree.
I don't.
Like I think that it's gonna happen. Like I feel like
You think performance mode and quality modes are going to be down behind the paywall?
Yeah.
What is the New Game Plus behind the
Hopefully they'll
paywall
fucking
this
work
year?
at that point.
What's the
Hopefully there'll
paywall
be enough
behind-
money coming in then.
I'm gonna try to look it up.
Is
but
it Persona? No. Didn't Atlas do something weird nobody liked? I don't know.
Persona's getting the added story content from Fez as a added pack this year, but
Like a dragon.
Oh,
Thank you.
like
There
a
it is.
dragon.
There it is. There it is. Yeah,
Good
yeah,
call.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's fucking stupid. I agree
yeah,
with that.
that sucks. That's
But
not
then we all voice that, and hopefully nobody buys it, and then there you go.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And then I saw somebody go through and it said Greg is totally detached from the normal gamer. I think honestly, I'm probably the more normal gamer than you weirdo. You know what I mean? Go review
shit.
bomb the game you're fucking putting 500 hours into. You psychopath. I'm just like a Ghostbuster. I'm totally fucking
He's a normal guy.
I'm a fucking normal dude. I drove my Ecto 1 to work today. Don't worry about me. Fucking psychos out there. You know what I mean? Anyways, I digress. Speaking of Capcom, number 2, Capcom is Metacritic's top game publisher of 2023. This is Jeffrey Rousseau over at GamesIndustry.biz. Capcom took the number 1 spot in 2023 for Metacritic's game publisher rankings. According to the 14th annual report, it received an average Metascore of 84.5. Its highest rated release during 2023 was Resident Evil 4 Remake on the PlayStation 5, which scored a 93 from critics. Quote, finishing at number 1 for the first time since the 2019 edition of our annual game publisher rankings, Capcom benefited from the massive critical acclaim of the latest Resident Evil remake, said Metacritic.
Can we stop right there?
Yeah.
Finishing at number 1 for the first time since 2019. What a baller ass thing for Capcom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that. It's almost weird to say for the first time.
Yeah. But the publisher also released 2 other 90-plus games in Street Fighter 6 and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, and many more in the 80 to 89 range. The company's lone 2023 disappointment, Exo Primal, a welcome, if ultimately lackluster attempt to launch a new IP, end quote. Your top 10 2023 publishers, as according to Metacritic, go number 1, Capcom. Number 2, Raw Fury. Number 3, Chorus Worldwide. Number 4, Dangan Entertainment. Number 5, Annapurna Interactive. Number 6, Nintendo. Number 7, Axis Games. Number 8, Bethesda Softworks. Number 9, Sega. And number 10, Thunderful.
Kind of cool to look at this, right?
Yeah.
Like here we go. This is critically received, right? This is not sales or anything. So it's like a couple surprises here, right? I feel like seeing things like Thunderful, which I've been talking about forever, like they're on the come up. Like we look at Devolver, and Devolver's amazing, but they're not here. I think that's just kind of interesting that there are other Raw Fury is, but it's cool to see different indie publishers kind of start to come up. So there's not just one game in town, and obviously Annapurna Interactive here as well, alongside Nintendo. That's great.
You heard of them.
You have?
Princess Peach Showtime available today.
Not helping this though.
Huh?
Not helping this.
No, not helping them.
much.
What did he get? What's the Metacritic get? It was 70 something yesterday. 76, 70,
79, something like that.
All right, cool. Not that terrible.
No, but I don't think it's not 90 plus. You know what I mean?
I hear with that. I agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with us lots of times, or at least like screaming at us when you disagree with us? Well, then, you should probably pick up that Kind of Funny membership. On Patreon or YouTube, of course, you can get each and every episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily ad-free. You could get all the other shows ad-free. You could watch us record the podcast live as we record them, like Ghostbusters in review right after this. And, of course, you could get the daily multimedia experience known as Gregway.
It's at a 75.
It's at a 75 Princess Peach Showtime. If you're not, though, you are not using your Kind of Funny membership right now. So here's a word from our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses brand that has over 300,000 5-star reviews. They are on a mission to match affordability with durability, making top quality shades accessible to everyone. They have tons of styles and colors to pick from, so finding the perfect polarized shades is a breeze. If you want an upgrade, we recommend their premium Color Rush lenses. Crafted with rare earth materials, these lenses bring high impact color to life, elevating reds, blues, and greens. Here at Kinda Funny, we all love wearing our Shady Rays, whether it's me looking dope doing my Pokemon Go walks, SnowBikeMike rocking the snow goggles, or Joey just looking fantastic in her tangle-free shades. If your shades go MIA or take a hit, don't sweat it. They've got lost and broken protection, so you're covered from day one. And if you don't love your shades, exchange or return them for free within 30 days. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, that's shadyrays.com and use code KF20 for $20 off each pair of polarized sunglasses. This episode's brought to you by Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer.
Number 3 on the Roper Report, Larian is done with Baldur's Gate as an entire franchise.
Wow.
This is Cat Bailey at IGN.com. During a talk at GDC 2024, Baldur's Gate 3 director Sven Vicky announced that Larian Studios would not be making any DLC expansions or sequels for the highly regarded RPG, which took home another Game of the Year award at Wednesday's Game Developers Choice Awards. However, speaking with IGN, Vicky did say that Larian began working on a DLC, and even gave some thought to a potential Baldur's Gate 4 before pivoting away to other projects. Quote, because of all the success, the obvious thing to do would have been a DLC. So we started one and started thinking about Baldur's Gate 4, he said. But we hadn't really had closure on Baldur's Gate 3 yet, and just to jump forward on something new felt wrong. We also spent a whole bunch of time converting the system into a video game, and we wanted to do new things. There are a lot of constraints on making D&D, and 5th edition is not an easy system to put into a video game. We had all these ideas of new combat we wanted to try out, and they were not compatible, end quote. He had spoken before about the challenges about working with 5th edition, particularly when it comes to how powerful players get when they reach level 12 and beyond. Shortly after release, Larian Studios said the team wanted to do new content but didn't know what yet. To date, Larian Studios has mostly focused on adding content that wasn't available at release, such as a new epilogue and additional endings. When it came time to make the DLC, though, Vicky says Larian was going through the motions. Quote, you could see the team was doing it because everyone felt like we had to do it, but it wasn't really coming from the heart. And we're very much a studio from the heart. It's what's gotten us into misery, and it's also been the reasons for our success, end quote. He says the next game won't be Divinity Original Sin 3, and that it will be, quote, different than what you think it is, but that it's still familiar. Elsewhere, Vicky said that the project will dwarf the scope of Baldur's Gate 3, which would be quite the impressive given the scope of the game.
Pretty cool.
To go a little bit further, Kotaku reported on this, then followed up with Larry and got the following statement. This is from their PR person. I told you at the beginning that we were a company of big ideas. We are not a company made to create DLCs or expansions. We tried that actually a few times, and it failed every single time. It's not our thing. Life is too short. Our ambitions are very large. And so, like Gustav, the code name for Baldur's Gate 3, taken from Sven's dog, who recently passed away. Baldur's Gate will always have a warm spot in our hearts. We'll forever be proud of it, and but we're not going to continue in it. We're going to make we're not going to make new expansions, which everybody's expecting us to do. We're not going to make Baldur's Gate 4, which everybody's expecting us to do. We're going to move on. We're going to move away from D&D, and we're going to start making a new thing. I'm saying it here because I have a forum and we're getting bombarded by people that expect us to do these things. But that's not for us. It's going to be up to Wizards of the Coast because it's their IP to find somebody to take over the torch. We think we did our job, and so for us, it's time to get a new puppy.
It's time to get a new puppy. Oh my God. That is beautiful. I think this is really, really great for them. They obviously proved that they got the stuff, and they did that with the established franchise, obviously Baldur's Gate, Dungeons and Dragons, all of that. But I mean, it's not going to surprise anybody that like it is a still massive undertaking that they took something as quote unquote obscure as Baldur's Gate and turned it into what they did in
100%.
the gaming space in a way that people at Kind of Funny are talking about Baldur's Gate as much as we are, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to them every which way there, reading between the lines, and somehow not even so much between the lines, just what the text is itself. Dungeons and Dragons, difficult to work with as a brand. Also, the owners of it changing things up, all this 5th edition stuff. There's been a lot of drama the last couple of years that I haven't fully understood. But it definitely sounds like this independent studio is making really smart independent choices, and I don't think that they need an IP to back them. I think that the skills and talent and the ways they've been talking, the circuit that they've done of their award season, where they get to go out and give multiple speeches at multiple types of award shows and otherwise, I think they're saying all the right things, and I think that whatever they work on next, there's going to be the most eyes possible on it.
100%. They, Baldur's Gate 3 was definitely their moment that made Larian Studios. I think the Divinity kids knew it beforehand, and then this was their big coming out party, and now they kind of have that blank check that, yeah, they can go make whatever they want to go make. And I think people follow them in the same way, success or failure, Witcher 3 did for CD Projekt Red, where people were like, oh, now I'm hip to the game. I know these people are awesome. I'm with them the whole ride. It'll be exciting to see what they do next, and I love the fact that Sven is so heart on his sleeve and talks very clearly, plainly, and straightforwardly about, again, this goes back to everything I was saying yesterday, and I have throughout many of these shows, of like studios that have a vision and have a vision for their game are successful. And that's clearly what's happening here. You know what I mean? I listened to him when he won this award and several awards at the GDC Awards this week. And when he got up there and was talking about it and taking publishers and greed and layoffs to task in his award speech at GDC. I highly recommend everybody go check it out. Like goddamn, this guy gets it, and he can fucking say whatever he wants because he has no boss above him like that, right? There is no, he's owned by PlayStation, Xbox, etc. There is no big bad boogeyman stockholder CEO above him. He can get up there and say what he needs to say, and that's great. And so more power to him. Go make the game.
And I mean, again, reading between the lines there, sounds like the partnership with Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah,
it's that if you don't want to deal with that shit, you don't need to anymore.
And even that, I don't. Yeah, exactly. I think, and that sounds like it was still a good relationship. I'm not reading negativity from that, right? But it is just the idea of like, now we can go do our own thing.
Yeah,
awesome. The thing everybody wants when they play Game Dev Story. Remember Game Dev Story? Did you ever play that? Kairos?
I never did.
Oh, so good. I was thinking about that the other day. They should make a Ghostbusters game like that.
Oh,
where it's just a sim of sending people out to bust ghosts or whatever.
I can't believe they have it. There's been so many Ghostbusters games.
Ghost Core, you make a lot of bad Ghostbusters game. Come to Greg Miller. Let me help you. Let me be.
Let
me be Bill Roseman. You know what I mean? For you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last one was great. Spirits Unleashed, where I'm in it as Nameless. Sure, great. But remember Ghostbusters World? I could have told him that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Remember fucking Sanctum of Slime?
No.
Don't even get me fucking started on Sanctum of Slime, all right?
I won't.
Number 4. The Kotaku EIC has resigned. We go to Gita Jackson and Riley McLeod over at Aftermath. Jen Glennon, who took over as editor-in-chief of Kotaku in October, resigned Thursday. In a resignation letter seen by Aftermath, Glennon says that she made this choice due to the management team's recent decision to deprioritize news in favor of guides. Glennon is the second editor-in-chief of Kotaku since Stephen Totillo's departure in 2021, following Patricia Hernandez, who was fired in August 2023. Quote, after careful consideration, I have concluded that the current management structure and decision-making processes at Go Media are not aligned with my values and goals for Kotaku, Glennon wrote in her letter of resignation, which was addressed to Go Media executives Jim Spanfeller and Leah Goldman. Quote, I firmly believe that the decision to invert Kotaku's editorial strategy to deprioritize news in favor of guides is fundamentally misguided given the current infrastructure of this site, Glennon wrote. This decision is directly contradicted by months of traffic data and shows an astonishing disregard for the livelihoods of the remaining writers and editors who work here, end quote. Glennon also announced her resignation on Twitter, writing, I've resigned from Kotaku, and Jim Spanfeller is a herb. According to a source close to the situation, Kotaku staff will be expected to create 50 guides a week at the site. Currently, Kotaku's homepage features a prominent games, tips, and guides module at the top of the page in a space that was previously reserved for major stories and breaking news. Staff members have criticized the homepage redesign on social media, noting that Kotaku's major source of traffic is not guides.
This is a difficult one to talk about in any productive way whatsoever, because it's just, all I want to say is this is so fucking stupid.
I cannot stress how create 50 guides a week.
I mean, there's like, oh God, I've read a lot about
guides a week.
Like, they clearly don't know what that means, or they do know, and there's deeper conspiracy theory
Just
shit
fucking
going on.
let them fail.
Which honestly, like, I personally buy into that, and I totally could be wrong, but just the way the moves have been happening, it's like, because I don't know. Sorry, let me be a little more clear here. There's been a lot of discussion about this last 24 hours that I've been seeing people that I respect have presenting different opinions on what they think is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And some of them are presenting the potential, I think it was Imran saying this, that the high ups there are creating a scenario that is going to make everybody quit, so that because they're a union, so they will not have to like deal with them in certain ways, and then they'll be able to just keep making their own money, and this is just the easiest way for them to like cut the shit that they don't want. Then I saw a counterpoint to that of just like, you are giving the high ups way too much credit. They are not fucking thinking about this at all.
Sure.
They're literally just moving numbers around and seeing what's working.
Guides are popular.
Guides are popular, and that's all that it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have enough information to
course
actually
not.
get what's going on there. But I do think that there's clearly shit going on for them not being happy with the union side of Kotaku and
sure.
how they have to deal with all that stuff. And then I also think that like there's just a top-down misunderstanding of games media, period, and how Kotaku, the website, functions. And it doesn't feel like Kotaku's long for this world for many reasons. But I think that
It feels like it's felt that way for a while.
And I think that like, that is not to the credit of so many amazing people that work there.
Oh, no.
Work.
Kotaku, the writing being on the wall for Kotaku has nothing to do with the writers and editors who work there.
I just want to make that clear. Like, that's
100%,
why this
great
gets
point.
very, very
Great point.
complicated to talk about, because I just feel like it can sound very vitriolic.
Right, we're
towards
not talking shit about the staff.
the staff at Kotaku, which is not the case. And I don't want to speak blanketly, but I would say that overall, it's like the staff is awesome at Kotaku. It is the decisions made around it, the bullshit that they have to deal with, and the website itself that is the issue. And that's not to discredit that it is the people running the website at the top that's the problem. But this is fucking insane. And we know from working at IGN as long as we did, we understand how guides are made. We understand how many resources need to be put into that to not only do it right, but do it at all, just to even be able to keep up with it. Then you add the AI of all of this, that there's already problems happening where AI is directly stealing guide work that people have done when you're Google searching and your question is answered, which is awesome for the consumer,
the user,
user. Consumer is even a weird word to use. User there, and then it's just ripping it from people that worked on this stuff for an IGN or for wherever. But like Kotaku has never been a guides website. Sure, they have some guide features, but like it is not what they do. And to then take people that what they do is journalism, impressions, interviews, think pieces. Yeah, think pieces is probably what I would associate with them the most. And just be like, hey, you're gonna do guides? Like, what? Get fucked.
And it's like then you have to wonder if you're trying to hit this quota, what the quality of these guides are going to be, right? It's not going to be here like the IGN wiki. Here's how to do everything in Baldur's Gate 3, right? It's going to be, I assume, here's how to unlock this stratagem, this one stratagem in Helldivers, right? It's that kind of garbage SEO churn shit.
Yeah.
That no one would be then going to Kotaku's.com anymore because nobody wants this garbage.
It'd just be going to Google. So
and maybe you're getting there, but then even out from underneath that, trying to change your identity and become the guides place is going to be fucking impossible to do.
Yeah, man, it's really freaking wild. Like, it's crazy to think of how many of these sites, these institutions, are in a downward spiral that they have been in for a long time for, again, a lot of reasons. And where we're at now, it's like, where are we going to end up in? I mean, being nice here, 2 years, looking around where it is just going to be 20 to 100 independent games media outlets that are all trying their best just to survive. And guess what? They probably will be able to, with the small audiences they have, if they make the right decisions, to be able to support it that way. But they're not all going to be able to do it. And at some point, it's going to eat in itself, and there's just not going to be a desire for the type of content because it won't exist in any real way. Like, we need the IGNs. We need the Kotakus. Yeah. Like, it's important for all these different types of sites to exist to be able to have the others function together and to have enough content out there for an audience to have a thing that they like and a thing that they don't like, and writers and podcasters that they prefer to listen to or that they vibe with or whatever it is. And like, we're rapidly approaching a scenario where that doesn't exist. There's no ecosystem for that. That's really scary.
100%. Crazy things are ahead, ladies and gentlemen. And so I say this very clearly, stepping away from the joke I would normally do, right? But very clearly that if you love an independent outlet making video game content, entertainment content, like Kinda Funny, like Aftermath, like MidMax,
Remap,
like NoClip, like exactly, the list goes on. The list goes on. You need to support them, and you need to support them financially. And I know it's never fun to say you should give people money, right? You spend your own money the way you want to spend your money. So many of you spend your money on us, and I thank you so much for that. But that's the reality of the situation. JJ Miranda, buy their microtransactions. Yeah, right? Like, that's what we're talking about here. Of like, you have all the stuff that you can get free, but there's the paid path for all these different battle passes for journalism and or entertainment and or reviews and or criticism and or just be whatever. Like, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to support the people you love and making the content you love. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And there are fewer and fewer and fewer outlets for those people to go. You know, IGN can't take on everybody. They're letting go of people. You know, GameSpot can't take on like, you're in this thing where you have to help foster all this other stuff.
Yep.
Well, seemingly IGN can take people on with 7 open roles while laying 3.
No, they're getting rid of them, remember?
Oh, they're getting rid of those open positions?
They got rid of the people, remember?
But with 7 open positions that people can apply
I just
for.
assumed those were roles for, engineers. Number 5 on the Roper Report is another example of me jumping to another fucking universe. Will Smith couldn't save some game you've never heard of. This is Wesley and Pool at IGN. The Will Smith fronted zombie survival video game Undawn bombed, according to a new report. Reuters said Undawn, which it described as a key in-house development team Reuters said Undawn, which it described as a key in-house developed game from Tencent, flopped spectacularly despite being endorsed by Hollywood star Will Smith and with an alleged budget of close to $140 million. Sources told the publication Undawn had more than 300 developers. PC and mobile game Undawn launched in June to much fanfare that revolved around the digital recreation of Will Smith in-game. I will stop right now and tell you, in my universe, this game never existed. I've never heard of this game until right now. I did not know Will Smith was in a video game. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Everybody yesterday was talking about this. Like,
much fanfare, according to Reuters.
This is so weird. Like, how does this exist and none of us knew about it?
I don't know. And that's what I'm saying is something's going on with the fucking timeline, and I'm getting kicked around here, and I don't like it one bit. A lot of people are in this different universe. A lot of people came from my universe here too. So we got a whole coherence thing
in the
going
chat
on
right here. Has anybody heard about this game before this story?
Everyone
this is just wild.
I'll keep reading while we all get.
Everyone's saying no.
The Oscar-winning actor plays Trey Jones, who acts as a guide to help players navigate the world 4 years after a global disaster.
I have never seen the chat move faster, and it's all no.
There's
hundreds of no's.
But even Will Smith couldn't save Undawn from failing to move the needle from Tencent. According to Reuters, quoting research firm AppMagic, Undawn brought in revenue of just about $287,000 last month.
All right, hold on. I'm pulling this from Will Smith's YouTube. Not Undawn's YouTube now. This is Will Smith's YouTube channel where he posted Undawn Will Smith trailer and has 784,000 views, which was posted 9 months ago. And so there are people out there who
it does exist.
Something happened. The timeline's getting fucked with.
There are fans to fair.
Anyways, the real reason I think this is worth bringing up, right, is the failure of Undawn is one of many reasons for a strategic shift at Tencent that has also resulted in the potential delay of the mobile game Assassin's Creed Jade. Tencent is said to be focusing on casual party games like Genshin Impact, casual party games and games like Genshin Impact, while moving away from working on mobile versions of Western IPs. We talked about, obviously, that before. Now, that thing of him on the beach, I do remember. That happened in my universe.
Do you
This
remember
part,
that?
remember
this part I
this?
don't remember. This
Are you
any of
thinking
this.
of the Dead Island 2 trailer?
No, I'm not. And
Are you thinking
I've
of
never
the-
seen
the
this part.
movie I Am
I
thinking of the meme
didn't
where
they
he's looking
tease
into
this?
the-
Maybe they teased this of him on the beach because I've seen that. I have not seen the rest of it. I've seen Will Smith on the beach.
Are you thinking of the
YouTube
meme where
Rewind?
he goes, "That's hot, that's hot"?
Ha 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 ha! I don't think I'm thinking of YouTube Rewind.
Marquez Brown.
We're still not even to the zombies.
It's a 2-minute trailer too. What is happening?
We're building, guys. One thing.
I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard I try.
Oh, they were just on the beach. They were just so happy.
That's live action Dead Island trailer now. I can't wait for Will Smith to claim us on this. You know what I mean? Will Smith's gonna fucking come claim us for Undawn. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Tim,
All right.
I'm happy that you're in this different universe with me as
Yeah.
well. But frankly, I'm sick of all this big news from this universe. I could use some small news. Where should I go?
You go to the Wii News channel where we cover all the small news items that you need to know about.
Wii News, your last story. Princess Peach, Showtime, Rise of the Ronin, Dragons Dogma 2 are all out today. Final Fantasy 16, the Rising Tide DLC, launches on PS5 on April 18th.
Fuck yes. I can't wait for this. Love the first part of the DLC. This is the bigger one. Should be fantastic.
The world's first Dragon Ball theme park is going to open in Saudi Arabia. No date has been given yet.
Cool.
GameSpot reports that almost a month after its release, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has its first patch, which focuses on improving the game's graphics, as well as a handful of bug and stability fixes. The game's performance mode, which prioritizes running the game at 60 frames per second over graphical quality, now has an option for either soft or sharp graphics
This
mode.
fucking infuriates me, Greg.
At least they didn't put it as a microtransaction.
The hottest take I have, and I stand by it till the day I die. Games should have one fucking mode and you just stick to it. If you want all this like customization, that's a PC thing and that's where it should stay.
PCs should get out of here, that's what I say. I'm glad you're on my side
You're
finally.
hanging out with Greg too much, Tim.
This is just insane, man. Let's put out a performance mode that runs worse than the fidelity mode and then try to fix it by adding 2 performance modes. Fuck out of here.
Don't worry, the PS5 Pro will fix all of this for us. The complicated upgrade system in Disney Speedstorm is finally being overhauled in Season 7. That's from GameSpot as well. Path of the Exile beta has been delayed from June 7th to sometime later this year. And then it looks like Margot Robbie is going to be producing a movie based on The Sims. That's according to Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. I just like vibing to it.
It's so
you know
good.
what I mean?
It's really good. It makes your mood good no matter what mood you're in.
I'm not going to say who because it would affect their character in their perception of the audience, but we'll code name him Ressing.
Okay.
Ressing the other day was like, we should come up with our own We Knew song. We shouldn't
Yeah.
use it, or we should shorten the middle
Yeah.
section so it doesn't. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, we might need to come up with our own, but that's a story for a different time.
Mr. Nintendo, fucking come get us.
Just be cool for now.
You know what I mean?
Just be cool for
come
now.
get us. What are you gonna do to me? You
Don't
can't
call it
stop
out,
me.
Greg.
Doug Bowser, if you want this song, come take it from my cold dead hands.
The worst that can happen, one episode, we roll with it as long as we can. One episode gets fucked up,
Yeah, and then we stop.
and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
learn.
Yeah. I
And
agree
for
with that.
now, we just don't learn.
I know this is a much bigger conversation. I see people, rightfully so, questioning what I'm saying. I just want to clarify here, Greg. When it comes to the performance mode, fidelity mode, and all that stuff, I feel like the game should just have a vision on what they're trying to go for. And if 60 frames per second is required, that should be what they put out there. And they shouldn't push for the 4K and shouldn't do all that stuff. Scale that stuff down and just be like, this is the product. Because what's important here is 60 frames. But guess what? For a game that's not important, then prioritize the other shit. And just make the call. Tell me.
Skullcat, thank you for getting a Kind of Funny membership while we're live over here. Let's check in over on the old You're Wrong. If you're watching live, kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. You can keep us honest. Tell us what we screwed up. Bander SN says, not sure where the typo came from, but Greg said Dragon's Dogma 2 broke Capcom's highest concurrent player count for a single game. It should have said single player game. Monster Hunter World and Rise currently are still higher. Thank you very much. Kebab says the Prince of Persia game with Nolan North came out in 2008.
For people saying they like options, that just means there's 2 options that don't work and more things for people to complain about. Look at any review at Kind of Funny for the last 2 years.
And people concerned about the Wii News music, so many YouTube videos use that music for their background music.
And also, for people concerned about the Wii music, I'll fist fight Doug Bowser in the street for it.
He will. He will.
I've seen you, Doug. I got the reach and the height. What are you going to do about it? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. If you have that beautiful Kind of Funny membership, you've enjoyed it ad-free. But of course, you could also be about to enjoy Ghostbusters in review live as we record it on your membership, whether it's Patreon or YouTube. If you're elsewhere, remember that'll be up later today, ad-free. Remember the Kind of Funny Game Showdown from PAX East is over. I heard it went well according to the chat, and that'll be up as well as an MP3 on the Showdown feed, and of course, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. I digress, though. If you like us, you should pick up that Kind of Funny membership for all the reasons I did. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live. YouTube, Twitch, podcast services around the globe. I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you see Frozen Empire. Let me know on Twitter if you like it or don't like it. And until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.